Hi everyone, Jane Craig here, Brand Swan. I just want to take a minute to welcome you and also thank our sponsor, Global Merchant Partners. They're a credit card processing company and they specialize in letting you keep more of your money, which is pretty cool. So without them, doing the video content would be almost impossible. It's quite time consuming. And as you know, we do this just to highlight the women in this community. We don't really get anything in return. So thank you so much for GMP for letting us continue to do this for the 7th annual year. So without further ado, let us go into the interview.
Weldon, who is the founder of Unite for Her, a nonprofit organization providing support to women diagnosed with breast and ovarian cancers. As a breast cancer survivor, she knows the importance of having access to preventive She knows the importance of having access to prevention services, which can be hindered by cost and availability. Unite for Her fills a gap in oncology by bridging healthcare professionals and patients through education, integrative treatments, and they have a national presence. They're launching in Delaware, and Unite for Her provides valuable services and resources to women who may otherwise not have access to them. So Sue, welcome to our interview.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. Thank you for having me.
Super glad to have you. So I like how Kelsey already has her video off. She knows she's going to start bawling. This is what happens to us. But so who are you? What do you do? And how did it all start?
Wow, who am I? Well, let me go into the breast cancer space, and I'll share that part of who I am because it really has become a big part of my life and my life's work. So, so I'm the founder and CEO of Unite for Her, and Unite for Her is a nonprofit, as you shared, that helps give integrative care and services fully funding and delivering to those affected by breast and ovarian cancer. All of this came out of what I lived. Jane, I'm a 19-year survivor. I was diagnosed at 39 years old and really found that there was a gap in the medical community to actually give access to integrative complementary types of therapies that help you do better on treatment, that help you subside side effects and symptoms, that help you manage them in a way that can emotionally and physically get you back on your feet. And as you can imagine, when you're diagnosed with a breast cancer diagnosis, it's debilitating. It stops you in your tracks. I had 3 little children at the time, and I just wanted to be there to see them graduate from high school, and here I am going, okay, how did I get here? And I swore they had the wrong girl. And learning about integrative care quickly became a wellness program for me. I just didn't realize I was building the business plan for Unite for Her then, but it became a program that allowed me to gain control in a disease I had no control over. And it became so valuable. But I spent a lot of money out of pocket. I spent a lot. It wasn't easily accessible. So that's sort of how that whole path began, for me in the integrative care space. It was really learning how to survive emotionally and physically, trying to make sure I could alleviate side effects that were caused from the treatment itself. When you're a young woman and you go through chemotherapy, you get forced into a forced menopause. You have hot flashes every hour on the hour, bone pain, neuropathy, headaches, depression. Oh, it's exhausting. And here, having this type of service, resources, therapies that I could lean into in order to get my emotional well-being in a good place so that I could physically do better for my doctors and my professionals were key. So that is how it all started. And it really has became my life's work. Unite for Her is 13 years old now. We're serving across the nation. We do have a special program project in the state of Delaware that we're really grateful for, being a Longwood grantee. And I really didn't know this was going to be my plan back then, but that's where it led me.
And wow, 39, I mean, that's 1 year under the recommended age. I got the mail one day and Bethany Longhall had sent a postcard congratulating me for hitting 40, and now it's time to get checked.
Yes.
So I'm, it's really great women coming together and just sort of putting that SOS out there because we hear about it, but until it happens to us, I mean, at 39. But congratulations for how far it's come. And
it's just my life's work, and definitely trying to meet more and more challenges as we get in there, and you heard me talk about, accessibility. That was it. That was my call to action. When I was going through all that, I had access. I could spend about $6,000 out of pocket to get acupuncture and nutrition and yoga and counseling and things that were not covered by the standard of care. Right. And I had access to that. And that was the wake up call for me, was when, I remember the day, Jane, I was at an event down at the Art Museum steps. It's about 2005. I'm about a year out, my hair just coming back and just feeling better, like my old self. And I took one of my athletes with me. I coached gymnastics then, and
cool.
took one of my athletes with me, and we just, had this beautiful day. It was a really restorative day right there on the Art Museum steps, and all these dynamic, empowering individuals there, uniting. And I saw this young woman out of the corner of my eye, and her hair was gone and hollow eyes and yellow skin. I was looking at myself. I was looking in a mirror. And I went up to her, just empowered with all of these great tools. Listen, you can do the acupuncture. Will help you with depression and anxiety and bone pain and hot flashes. And let me talk about nutrition and plant-based diet and how food is your medicine, and yoga that helps you, get the negative chatter out of your mind and helps you sleep and move with breath. And she just started crying. She said, "Oh, great. Good for you. I could never afford all that." And that was my call to action back then. Just went home and was like, "All right, honey, we're going to start a nonprofit. I'm not quite sure what it looks like. We're all going to work for free for a while."
Yeah, that's about how it works.
Find people that are smarter than I am, and really building to get this integrative care across the nation. So where we are today, one step at a time, with a lot of teaching along the way.
Did you ever keep in touch with her?
No, I don't know her name. It bothers me to this day. She is at every opening of my wellness, events that we do. And I share this story because it really was like this passing. And I didn't know I was going to create Unite for Her at the time, and didn't know. I just walked away like, oh, well, there's a miss, right? Like, how did I not see that? And felt really ashamed. So it was just that pivotal moment that allowed me to take that experience and turn it into what is now known Unite for Her. Yeah.
So when you were first diagnosed, was there a feeling of optimism, like, I'm going to get through this? Or what was the feeling like?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yes and no, right? Like, I swore they had the wrong girl. I was fortunate that it was a 5-centimeter lump, so it was a large lump. I had a bilateral mastectomy, 6 months of chemotherapy. I wasn't sure. I was going to get through that, and in one piece, and being as strong as I was before I was diagnosed. And that uncertainty had a lot of fear and anxiety and depression, and that's normal. That's normal. And I remember my acupuncturist telling me that, Susan, you have every right to be depressed and have this type of feeling of, uncertainty. You were just diagnosed with a cancer diagnosis that is traumatic. And and that would be normal to have, that type of result is coming through as a depression. That's a normal emotion. It would be not normal if you did not feel that way. And that's where, he just sort of met me where I was, and could just help me, alleviate that depression one step at a time. But it took a lot of work. And, wellness is an active motion. So you had to pick yourself up and, put one foot in front of the other every day, and find resources that surrounded you that could help you get into these types of services and resources that could help you heal. But it took a lot, and there was plenty of times that I'm on that couch and I couldn't even get myself up because of the impact of the therapy. So optimism is a tough word, and every day as survivors, until there is a cure, we worry about that tap on the shoulder that's going to, come back. Is there a reoccurrence? And hoping that we're doing the right thing every day by keeping ourselves emotionally balanced and physically balanced and nutritionally fed and mentally sound. There's wellness is an action. and it takes work. And that's where Unite for Her comes in. We help you get to that point where we give you all the tools and we fund and deliver it all. So you don't have any anxiety or pressure to have to do that on your own. You have the resources right there that are
Beautiful.
that are needed, because everybody has a tough situation. They're all different and different approaches.
Did you have a mentor, not just through, the diagnosis, but in building the company?
Oh, absolutely. And I love that question. Thank you, Jane. I remember my mentors all the way along the way, and one of them was my first donor, and her name is Patty Holloway. And Patty, believed in me. That conversation was, about building our first wellness program with 23 patients at Paoli Hospital.
Ooh, thanks, Patty.
And and just to have people believe, and my surgeon, Dr. Bob Freed, believe in the mission that I had, that I was doing things a little differently, to give me that confidence and that trust. That was key. That was key, to have somebody, pour a lot of love and support into you and your mission. And that was the beginning, back in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And I remember even her words saying, Susan, you're going to be pulled to be everything and want to do everything for everyone. You can't, you have a focused mission, and be very take your priorities and stay focused on that mission. Don't get pulled, because people will try and pull you. And I've taken that to heart, and it just, even now, 13 years later, I still remember those words, and then along the way, you continue to learn and grow. I think of my staff, and they are dynamic, and they all just inspire me. And they all have different skill sets that I learned.
Yeah.
And each one of them, even though I'm a mentor to them, they're a mentor to me too, because I learn from them. The same with my husband. My husband just is incredibly business savvy in developing, employees in his place of work, and professionals. And he's been able to sort of give me that corporate lens that I did not have,
Nice. Can I borrow him next week or something?
Oh, it's a good one. It's so needed. You need a lot of different parts of the puzzle to bring it together to build something like Unite for Her. It doesn't come easy. It's a lot of work, but it really is a bunch of individuals coming together with shared skill sets, different skill sets that allow you to optimize on, their strengths. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of incredibly dynamic people in my life. Yeah.
I would like to give a shout out to myself, because I completely agree. My team's amazing. And it's interesting looking to see what an organization would be without the people that's in it, and
Totally.
I think we often think our self-value is, how can we sell a company when the company is nothing without you, right? So just having the outside view of, what is it, if I were taken out of it, is such a powerful legacy, right?
Yes.
So
that's very insightful, because I think of that often. I mean, this is my life's work, Jane, and I want to make sure that Unite for Her lives beyond me. And it's important that, that my staff knows that they have the ability to carry Unite for Her forward without me. And that took years to build. That took years to build, and it was a strategic plan, and we're still working towards that, and valuable, but every time I get up and have a speech or do an event or do an interview, I don't stand up here alone. There's no way, right?
No way.
I'm up here with a dynamic staff of now 23, an incredible board that supports us and motivates us and gives us their skill sets, and thousands of members that we have that have become the Unite for Her community, that keep moving us forward. They keep shouting our names and telling their companies about us and looking for ways to fund, because the more funding we get, the more we can serve. And truly, our members have moved us forward every step of the way. So there's a lot of parts there, to the success of Unite for Her, the success of Sue Weldon. It's not one person, that's for sure. It is a team and a community. Yeah.
We always talk about the plus side of, a business, and, assuming that it aligns with, what we want in life, but what are some of the obstacles that you've had, not necessarily with the diagnosis, but actually running the business? Would the diagnosis make the stress easier? Because you're like, well, I've already survived this, so what can't I do,
Yeah. No. No.
That's
So
lovely.
yeah, there's a lot of obstacles there. And if I talk about a personal obstacle, when I was first creating Unite for Her, and I remember my husband actually sitting me down and going, Sue, I don't know if this is a good idea, because you just put yourself in the middle of the very thing you wanted to forget and leave. And now you take on everybody else's emotional hurt and try and fix the problem. And I had to learn that I couldn't do that, or else I would not be good for anyone. Right. And I was taking on all of their emotion, all of their, pain and suffering, and trying to create a path for them forward. And no one individual can do that, especially when you're doing hundreds and hundreds of members that you're serving. And then I would not be good to anyone, So, a lot of faith, a lot of prayer, and being able to compartmentalize when I am in that space, and be able to walk away and fill myself up to get rejuvenated every day. That can get heavy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we lose members every day. The more we treat, the more we lose, because it is sadly a disease that is still impacting the lives of many. So, it was really important for me to understand how to maneuver that space in a way that kept me emotionally strong,
Mhm.
and knowing that challenge, so that I can continue to serve. And then just building the nonprofit over the years to move it in a way that would sustain beyond me. That was key. And I had key staff that are still with me today, building along with me. And I felt it very important to continue to lift them up as we build the organization, not bringing in somebody outside, the ones that were there from the beginning, and lifting them up in a way that is so critical, because they know the story, they know the history, they know the mission, they know how valuable it is, and the culture and the community that we created. Community is key. Community is key. We all need our community, and we get to different communities in different ways. Unite for Her offers a community, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's at our events, whether it's, a part of the wellness yoga team or the nutrition team. You find your community, but not everybody has the same one. So we have to create it for them. So yeah, so that was, every year or two or three comes new challenges with a growing organization. COVID was a big challenge for us,
Yeah, for sure.
but we just had to, pivot and innovate, because cancer didn't stop, and there was no way that we were going to stop serving because the world shut down. So we figured it out. But that figuring it out and innovation allowed us to go nationwide. It allowed us to prioritize those in need. It allowed us to prioritize women of color that have a 40% higher risk of dying from breast cancer over the average white woman. It allowed us to pick our heads up and look at a way that we can create health equity. And that was all out of, the learnings of COVID, to serve in a way that was different and right to the home, but could also serve across the nation. So we've had a lot of challenges, but with the right team and an open mind and a lot of collaboration and conversation and communication, knowing that you need to have different points of view to get to an outcome that is sustainable for the organization. It's much bigger than us, Jane, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and we need voices that are collaborative and understanding, and have the mission of Unite for Her front and center always, so that we can continue to grow in this space. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would that be a big thing you want to see kind of changed in the world, as just, BIPOC, people of BIPOC who can just, they're a completely underserved market, and I don't know, I was surprised to know that fact, actually.
I know. We learned a lot, I mean, there's a lot we saw it even with COVID, right? We saw it with health equity and getting access to healthcare and vaccines. And it is, across the spectrum with our Black and Brown communities. And for us, we linked arms with other nonprofit partners that are right in the community of serving the Black and Brown communities, our Latino population, learning from them. And they became such a voice for Unite for Her, really bringing us into their trusted space. And, if we all work together on this health equity gap, knowing that there is a lot of work to be done. And for us at Unite for Her, we're like on the ground. We call them ground shots. I know there's a big moon shot, with Biden's cancer initiative, but we're the ground shot. We're going in and making sure that we're prioritizing these communities, the underserved, underrepresented, under-supported, all different, that are getting access because of a variety of reasons that they are not getting the care that they deserve. And a lot of it because of the color of their skin. And just being able to sit in that space and recognize that unconscious bias that you have and grow from it has allowed Unite for Her to really link arms with so many incredible partners in the communities of color that help us do incredible work. So much so that we're increasing the amount of individuals that we're serving across the nation, upwards of 20% more now in the Black and Brown community because of our efforts to get to these communities. But we can't do it alone. We have to do it with all different types of partners. And we have pharma partners, we have corporate partners, we have nonprofit partners, we have community partners, hospital partners. There's a lot that goes into it.
So many moving parts. I know that you are coming into the Delaware territory, and I have the one big question I have is, I believe Delaware was the #1 in cancer victims, unfortunately. Any idea why or how you're dealing with that?
No,
Pressure.
I'm not sure about the why. I know the statistics are staggering, and hence why we want to prioritize our community in Delaware. And we were so grateful to get a grant from the Longwood Foundation, also from the Delaware Community Foundation. Once we got the one grant, we opened doors for another grant, and that enabled us to now serve 200 newly diagnosed or living with metastatic disease or ovarian disease in the state of Delaware. And we're going to continue to maintain that and grow. This is like our first 2-year project, but there's a lot of great need out there. So for us, forging partnerships, being on a show like this, getting into the community, making sure we're showing up at the events, being heard and seen at these events as like who is Unite for Her, enables us to get out there and get our program right into the hands of those that are in need. And we are really grateful that we can prioritize us being right outside of Philadelphia. You're our neighbor. We are across the United States now serving, but to be able to really dive into the Delaware community in a way that's so impactful, we wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of those grantors. And we are most grateful. So we are eager. Actually halfway there, we've already recruited over 100 of our participants in the area with different recruiting partners.
Ooh.
And really just leaning into those hospitals that are community cancer centers as well, because they're the ones that, 80% of all of cancers go to the community cancer center. Hence the bigger organizations, the bigger hospitals get a lot of the resources. So that's a goal for us, to get to those community cancer centers and have those resources there available. So most grateful. And that's where we always say, it is a labor of love, and it takes a village, and those, foundations that give support and listen to us and hear our voice and our objectives, and then want to lean in, we are most grateful for.
Down to the nitty gritty of just learning a little bit more about what makes Sue tick, so putting Unite for Her aside.
Yeah.
What's the best compliment you've ever received? Something that just makes it all, like the most rewarding thing.
So good. So for me personally, my gosh, I'm all about my family, to say that I am like an incredible mother and mentor.
I love that confidence.
And I love my kids, and the partnership that you have to work at to raise them. And they're all adults now, right? So, when I look back and I was diagnosed, and I just wanted to make sure I was there to see them grow up. And I didn't know if I was going to have that opportunity, so just to have that compliment that, that, oh, she was a good mom, she was there, she's supportive, honest.
That's what you want to be most known for. The best mom ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, we're all just in that supportive, loving community together. And for me, when you pour a lot of love and support into someone or something, they're bound to flourish. And I feel that way about my family. I feel that way about Unite for Her. They're a family. Unite for Her was actually my fourth child, I always say. I have three.
Yeah.
And all, being able to just work together to form so much love and support that enables people to thrive. Everybody wants to have value and purpose. And I feel like I strive for that even to this day, and it continues to change in your family. But we also strive for it in the Unite for Her family, so they're connected. They're definitely connected. I'm one and the same. It's not like I am a different person with my family than I am with Unite for Her. Just have a huge responsibility over here with Unite for Her, serving 5,300 members a year.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but we have those guiding principles and that culture that just knows that you have to do the work and put that work in a thoughtful, strategic way and utilize your resources. I always say, the more people to love my kids, the better. The more people to love Unite for Her, the better, right?
Yeah.
That only makes us stronger. So, yeah, I guess that's what makes me tick. A lot of passion.
I love that. I definitely sense that passion and like everything you do. Okay. 2 more questions.
All right.
2 more questions.
I'm ready.
First one is, what question didn't I ask you that you wish I did?
Oh, okay. Let me think about that.
Something we missed. What did I miss?
Well, let me share a little bit about the Unite for Her program and what's involved in integrative care, because
Sure.
Sometimes that word is confusing. Integrative care, supportive care, complementary care, all interchangeable. And it really allows people to get access to like that health and wellness community that is driven by science, and driven evidence-based. So think about medical acupuncture, oncology massage, nutrition, plant-forward diet, food as medicine, counseling, sexual health counseling, fitness, movement, yoga, Reiki. This is all on what we call a wellness passport, and it allows our community to choose what their wellness plan is going to be, and then we fund and deliver it with $2,000 worth of services. So
nice.
That is the basis and the foundation of Unite for Her. The fact that we enable them to get the education, the resources, it's hard to learn about wellness. It just might not be your wheelhouse to know about acupuncture, Reiki, yoga, nutrition, or counseling. The fact that we provide you with the education, the tools, and the funding is key, because then it takes all those decision-making areas out that sometimes can weigh you down and get you stuck, and then it allows us to create a community and a support system around you. So Unite for Her is based off of that principle, that culture of creating a wellness program that allows you to mitigate side effects and symptoms without more drugs and prescriptions. And it is science-based, it's research-based, and we survey all of our participants. And one of the things that we were most proud of was that we were able to submit a poster and an abstract for the San Antonio Breast Cancer Conference Symposium.
Oh.
And that was in December of 2022, and we got accepted. And that was a big deal for us. It was such a big deal that we could present our poster. If anybody wants to see those findings, it is on our website.
Yeah. Share it with us, and we'll go ahead and post it below.
It's uniteforher.org/SABCS. And when we put this press release out, but we got to present our finding, we linked arms with the cancer support community. We are not a research firm, so we knew that it was important to take our survey information, make sure it was mined and cleaned, and the data was not biased, and then present on it. And what we found is that, 28% of those surveys said that they were able to eliminate one or more prescribed medications or over-the-counter drugs because of the Unite for Her program.
Wonderful.
It's huge, right? 94% were able to adhere to their treatments because of the Unite for Her program. Another win,
Yeah, that's huge.
83% saying that their emotional well-being was in a better place because of the Unite for Her program. 97% said that they had a better positive outlook. That's good, right? That's when we know, that's when the science and the medical community and the wellness community, it all comes together to show the outcomes that are so important to document. We get love notes all the time from our community, text and emails and thank you cards, and we love them. And if I was in my office, you would see them all behind us, and too many for us to put up. We know the program works, but when you have the science and the data behind it to share with your partners, to share with your donors, that's what moves the needle so that we can get more funding and allow us to get across the nation in ways that won't leave anyone behind.
And give them the will to live.
Yeah. And one more thing that we
Will.
didn't talk about is our metastatic community. And we have such a commitment to our metastatic breast cancer community. That is our stage 4 community. They are those members that will not have a cure, and they are living with the disease for life. And our hope is it becomes chronic, and that they will be able to manage it with different types of therapies and treatments. And Unite for Her being a part of that. So our commitment to this community is that passport of services that I described, that lasts for a year, Jane. If they are living with metastatic breast cancer or recurrent ovarian cancer, we renew that passport for life. Every 6 months, they get to renew it so they can start again. Some choose just for the nutrition services. And especially being in undersupported, underrepresented areas, food is a basic need. And we ship 6 weeks of vegetables to your home. And then we'll do it again and again. And food delivery services or grocery gift card, that's our nutrition program. That metastatic community gets to renew that every 6 months. So that commitment is a big lift for us, one that we are committed to because we know that disease is different than what I had. It is a breast cancer. So I think I gave you 2 other questions there.
Yes, that was awesome. And so one last question. Okay, actually 2 questions, but one last official question is if you could pick one woman to be the most influential, maybe in your industry, maybe just to you, who comes to mind?
Oh my gosh.
Most influential woman. And it can be in history, it can be living or dead.
I know. That's a hard one, right?
Yeah.
So many. There are so many dynamic leaders out there, and I get the privilege to work beside them and grow to inspire to be like them. And I don't know if I can pick one. I'm sorry, Jane. I don't know
It's
if I can pick one.
You can always just say, the one that shows up.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Who shows up?
I know. I say that a lot too. So thank you for saying that, because that is always 90% is showing up and being, and just being there. I'll tell you, there's a very young, dynamic woman that caught my eye just in our world. And that is, Amanda Gorman. And I just love seeing what she is embarking on with, our right to freedom of speech. And she's such a young woman and dynamic and putting her voice out there for good. So I get inspired by so many women out there, young, old. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And we'll go ahead and put information to her down below. And where can we find you online? Where do you hang out?
Uniteforher.org.
Okay.
So uniteforher.org. You can follow us on all of our social channels, Unite for the number 4, her. And then, of course, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Sue. This has been quite enjoyable. Thank you for everything you do.
You got it. Yep.